What's up guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Welcome to Art by Flan. So in 2016, I had a New Year's resolution that I'm proud to say I kept. I wanted to do more traditional art, and you didn't see a lot of it here on the channel. Like, I had maybe one or two pieces because my filming setup wasn't the best until later in the year. But I'm proud to say I kept that. So I wanted to make another art goal for this year. I don't want to call it a resolution because there are so many negative connotations with the word resolution. And I think a lot of people have that same kind of feeling. But so my art goal for 2017 will be to draw more boys. Like, if you noticed something lacking on my channel, it would be men. I don't draw a lot of guys. I don't draw a lot of dudes. I don't. I don't know what it is about male anatomy that eludes me, but it simply does. So to sort of combat that, I'm going to start trying to draw some more dudes, putting them in my sketchbooks and doing them in videos in both digital and traditional art. So what I'm working on here is a little chibi-fied, not exactly that, simplified maybe? I don't know. Simple version of my character, Baneara. He's Jaku's lover. He is usually in dog form, but I've drawn him here in human form. And there is a lot of skin in this picture. I did think about that when I started drawing it, and I didn't really notice how long it would take me until I actually started and I was halfway through and recording and everything, and I was like, you know what, screw it, this is just gonna be a lot of skin. So I spend a good portion of this video working on that, and like, it looks okay on camera, but it's not the sort of blend I would want for his skin. So I'm gonna continue working with skin tones. Obviously, that's one of my biggest downfalls, is working with different skin tones and trying to get them all blending correctly. They don't look weird. Like, by the end of this, I had really overworked his skin, and the paper was really pushed to its limit with the wax of the colored pencils. So I mean, it came out pretty good in the end. It still looks okay, but I definitely want to be able to achieve the same kind of effect with fewer layers. And that's always sort of my goal with colored pencils, because there is a limit with this particular medium before things start to get waxy and the paper pushes its limit and you can't layer anything anymore. It'll just glide on top of the paper and make no marks whatsoever. So I really want to find a nice balance between getting the skin tone nice and blended and not overworking my paper. I posted a picture in my Snapchat story, my Instagram story, from a different angle where you could see all of the wax lines, and it made the picture look so gross. It was so funny. But I'm coming to the end of his skin here, and I'll be moving on to other colors. Another bad habit I find myself having is I'll say to myself, Danny, you should make sure to use cool grays. And then I look at the French grays and I think, maybe I should use the French grays instead. And I do. And it never looks like I wanted to. I always think to myself, oh, well, I'll use the French grays. And the French grays is not the color the shade of gray I was going for. I do it every single flipping time, and I drive myself bananas. Because I thought, well, his skin's a warmer brown. Maybe I should use the warm grays. Nope, I picked up the damn French grays again. I can't stop it. I love the French grays, apparently. So his hair came out much lighter initially, but I did go back over it and darken it a bit more with some cooler grays, which is what I should have used in the first place. Either the cool grays or the warm grays. Anything would have been better than the freaking French grays that I always seem to grab, and it drives me bananas. So, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the character, since you've heard me prattle on about colored pencils for long enough. I've talked about him and his relationship to Jaku before, and I'll put a link to that video in the upper corner, but I haven't talked, that's more how they ended up together and how he lives after that incident. It's fairly simple. He doesn't really leave Jaku's side. Like I said, he only can become human once or twice a month, depending on the moon cycle. Full and new moons, he can become human, and when he is, he tends not to like clothing, because when you're a dog, you spend a good portion of your time naked, and he just tends not to like clothing when he's in human form because it feels stifling. So he does tend to wear, if he does wear any kind of covering, it's usually light and flowy pieces, loincloths, fabrics, generally shirtless, things like that, unless I stick him in a modern universe or something, and then obviously he's clothed. But he doesn't tend to like a lot of clothing, so normally when I draw him, he's scantily clad, which is so much fun to say. He also favors a lot of golds, and that particular thing came from Jaku. She liked the way the gold looks against his skin. The darker skin tone made the gold stand out, so he generally wears a lot of gold accessories to sort of please her eye, I guess. Like I said, he's real into her. Like if she had a Snapchat, he would be blowing that shit up constantly. Which, actually, that sounds like a fun AU. I might do something with that. Keep that in mind. But yeah, so that's usually the kind of color schemes I go for with him. So, on the subject of the picture, I did end up getting some fixative for colored pencils. And my microns worked much better on top of them. I still had to clean off the wax sometimes, so if you'll see me really quickly lifting up the sketchbook, that's what I'm doing. I'm scribbling the wax off of the micron pen when I'm going over to do my toppings. And it definitely worked better. Still not ideal, but I don't know if I'll ever find an ideal solution to my top inks problem. So I just gotta keep looking, and in the meantime, I will just keep doing what I'm doing. The only downside to using fixative, though, is it smells like spray paint. So when I use fixative on a piece in my sketchbook, my house, my apartment smells like spray paint for a good 2 days after that. And not to mention my sketchbook. I use it on my sketchbook, and I let it sit over the weekend for it to clean itself off, and it still sort of smells like spray paint. I'm really kind of upset about that. Another thing I want to start doing this year is framing the characters, because I am more of a character artist. I do a lot of just random people in blank space. So what I wanted to do was start framing them with just abstract boxes and shapes in the back, and that's what I'm doing here. And I even whipped out my watercolors for it. So here's a finished piece. If you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button. You can always leave a comment down below. Tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like, what kind of videos would you like to see from me, anything like that. And hey, you can always subscribe to get a brand new video from me every single week in your inbox. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.